morning and welcome to Our Issues Milwaukee. I'm your host, Andrea Williams. Summer is right around the corner, and what better time than to be a tourist in your own town? You don't need to travel far and spend a lot of money to get some culture, relaxation, sightseeing, and a little adventure in your life. My first guest is Claire Koenig. She is the communications manager at Visit Milwaukee. Hi, Claire.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Thank you for being here. Let's talk about Visit Milwaukee and why tourism is so very important.
Sure. Well, so Visit Milwaukee is the destination marketing organization for the greater Milwaukee area. So what does that mean? That means we basically sell Milwaukee to tourists, so leisure travelers, people who are just looking to have a vacation, to meeting planners. So these are the people that are going around the country and figuring out where they're going to host their next convention. And we're trying to say Milwaukee is the best spot for your next meeting, vacation, whatever. So that's what we are doing day in and day out. Why is that important? Well, those people that we're marketing to, they bring in a bunch of money and then they leave it here and then they leave. So we love that and we want more of that, and we spend our every day doing that. In terms of that money, $5.2 billion is what they bring to the greater Milwaukee area each year. Yeah, that's a huge amount of money.
It is.
Yeah.
And also some of the jobs that people have specifically cater to tourism. So
totally. Think of any hospitality industry job. So everyone knows someone who works in a restaurant or works in a bar or works at a hotel front desk or maybe runs a tour or gives brewery tours. Everyone knows someone who does something like that. Those are the people working in tourism. They are the ones who are ambassadors for the city because they are the ones interacting with these visitors. Even if it's a meeting attendee, they are the ones giving off that impression of Milwaukee.
And you never really think about that, but I'm sure those people who are working in those industries are well aware that they could be the first and last impression that someone has of our city. And, you know, when people have a great experience, they talk about it, right?
Totally. Even Uber drivers. And we help train them to put Milwaukee's best foot forward, so that when they do get guests of all kinds who are going to ask them all sorts of questions, they can give a good amount of information about the city.
Yeah, and I did mention in the open that what better place than to, you know, kind of tour than your own city, because so many times people take for granted all of the great things that we have to do here in our city. We drive past it every day, we walk past it, maybe a restaurant, really, I don't know, there's all kind of great architecture that we don't pay attention to. And so really it's a great reminder to have you here to tell us about all the great things that the city has to offer. And if you're planning a staycation, then you really can give people some ideas, right?
Tons. Point me in the direction and I
How
can
much time do you have?
Exactly.
So when it comes to branding Milwaukee, you think about the surrounding states, Michigan, Illinois, Minnesota, even maybe, you know, Canada.
Yeah, definitely.
How do you go about getting the message out to these people who don't live here that this is a great little city on a great lake?
So we have a marketing team. They're doing traditional marketing. They're buying ads in markets like Minnesota and Northern Illinois. They're buying a lot of ads in Chicago because we know Chicagoans come up here in droves. They're buying them some internationally too. So traditional advertising, we have a PR team that is working with travel media all the time to tell Milwaukee's story through media outlets. There was just an awesome article in the Chicago Tribune about all of the custard stops that you can do in Milwaukee, which is perfect. Like that's the perfect summer activity to do here, and Chicagoans should know about that. So we are doing that. We also have a sales team. They make up the biggest part of our company. All they are doing are talking with those meeting planners. They're bringing them here, they're showing them, here's what you could do, here are the amazing venues we have, the sweet restaurants who will host your happy hours, and then helping them book their meetings in the city.
I think that's awesome. And
Yeah.
speaking of newspaper articles, earlier this week, saw a article in the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel where they basically pointed out that Milwaukee is the fourth most popular retirement destination, citing the big city appeal and the low cost of living. And I have to admit, I was surprised. Like, really?
Yeah. Well, and weather actually I would think plays into part of that surprise, right?
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You think of retirees as wanting to go to somewhere where it's warm all the time, but actually tourism is spread out evenly around the quarters for Milwaukee, which definitely was surprising to me. But if you think about when you live here, it's like the fun doesn't stop when it gets cold out. We find other ways to have fun.
Yeah, and if people like to ski and things like that, then they definitely can make their way here.
I mean, we have parks where you can come and just rent snowshoes or cross-country skis and do that. You can go to the domes year-round. Obviously, our breweries stay open year-round. So there is plenty to do, and I think people are really starting to grasp onto that.
Obviously, and what I really found interesting as well is that in that same article it said that Nashville was the only other city that was outside of Arizona and Florida that made the top 10 list. So I think that's really something that we can be proud of. You'll take that, right?
Totally.
So is it information like that you're able to use in order to kind of promote the city in different ways?
Yeah, we use some things like that, but we also, well, for one, it is not hard to promote Milwaukee at all. We have experienced, what is it, a $5-something billion development boom?
Yeah.
Which means we have a brand new NBA arena, which is currently the best in the NBA. We have natural resource amenities. We have white sand beaches, which comes as a surprise to a lot of visitors. But like, that's not hard to promote when someone wants a nice beach vacation where they can feel like they get away, but they also get the city. And you know, we have hundreds of miles of trails if they want something that is more hiking or active.
Yeah.
So it isn't hard
Now
to
you
promote.
mentioned the Fiserv Forum, so gotta go there. The Milwaukee Bucks, needless to say, had an amazing postseason, which brought a lot of revenue to the city.
Yep.
A friend of mine was here. He said one hotel sold out. I got to go to the other hotel, and I thought, wow, now that's good stuff. So, talk about the impact that the postseason for the basketball team had.
Yeah. So we estimated each home game when they were here had an economic impact of about $3 million. So that's everything from your friend booking a hotel room to, I'm assuming they wanted to go out to dinner. Maybe they went to one of the bars in the Deer District and had a beer. All the way to the Uber rides to the airport to the airfares of getting here. And I'm sure we don't have an estimate for the away games, but we have all those pictures of the Deer District where there's like thousands of people downtown watching them together. I can't imagine there was zero economic impact from that.
You better believe it. And what I loved is that the Bucks, a little off the subject, said that, you know, this was the first go round for the Deer District and everything is so new that they're really evaluating how to make that experience even better. So it's great stuff. And of course, speaking of the Fiserv, you've got the Democratic National Convention that's coming in 2020. I don't need to, you know, emphasize to you how huge that is. So, because I'm guessing that you played a role, your organization, in convincing these delegates that it needs to be here in Milwaukee. We're going up against Houston and Miami, right? And Miami had these little things going around, like, we've got beautiful beaches. It's like, we do too. What was it like for you to get the news that the DNC was going to be here in 2020?
Madness. I mean, we were all so thrilled and excited that the hundreds of hours of work that our staff put in toward that bid. I mean, our sales team alone put in hundreds of hours helping them with the housing side of things, also helping do the logistics for all of the site visits, which are like, you know, 30 people per visit, coming in and taking them all around the city, having them meet with all these people they could potentially work with down the line. They're a big logistical haul to plan, and we helped a lot with those. So once we found out that it all paid off and they're coming here, I mean, and it should not be forgotten that one of the best things of the DNC coming here means that other meeting planners who plan giant conventions now get to look at Milwaukee and say, okay, they can do it.
Yeah.
They should be on our short list.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And not to mention all of the eyes from around the globe
Sure.
that will be on Milwaukee.
Yeah.
And there could be something to spark someone to say, you know what, I think I want to visit there,
Yep,
right?
Definitely.
Yeah.
We all need to be really good ambassadors for that week because there will be such a heavy media eye on us. But it just gives us an opportunity to tell everyone out there, what's your favorite thing about living here? What's your favorite thing to do on the weekend? And that's what people who are making like vacation decisions or meeting decisions want to know.
That's the truth. And Visit Milwaukee just held its annual meeting. I think it was last month, was
Yeah.
it? So if you would give us an idea of what was shared at that meeting in regards to tourism.
Well, so we talk about the numbers, which we've talked about. That's the $5.2 billion. It's the number of taxes that money offsets for locals. So, for instance, if we didn't have that tourism money, which again is mostly visitors coming in, leaving their money here, then they go home, locals would have to pick up some of that tax bill that visitors help us offset. And that's to the tune, at least in Milwaukee County, of $645 per person.
Wow.
Yeah, like there's a lot of things I could do with $645, and I'm glad I don't have to pay in taxes.
Yes, it's like stuff that, like I said earlier, stuff people really don't give thought about. And
Exactly.
Summerfest,
Yeah.
which is coined the world's largest music festival, that gets a lot of attention from around the globe as
Definitely.
well. So with that coming up soon, talk about the impact that Summerfest has each and every year.
So again, they are bringing in tons of locals, tons of people from outstate Wisconsin, tons especially from northern Illinois come up for Summerfest. Because again, the same reasons why everyone comes to Milwaukee. You can have a great time for less money, and it's very easy to get around here. We all know as locals, we're no more than 10 or 15 minutes from pretty much anywhere you need to be.
Truth.
And Summerfest is a great reason to come in for a few days, see as many bands as you totally can. And of course, they have a huge economic impact for the city. They also, all those food vendors, those are locals too. We should
That's
not
true.
forget
That
all
is
of
very
the
true.
amazing food we love every year. Like, that's not a national chain coming in and then getting out of here when it's over.
You make so many great points. And speaking of getting around and making it easier, the hop, of course, another new thing that's been added to the scene. And we're hoping to see that grow to make it easier for people to get to not only, you know, the east side and the third ward, but and beyond.
Into the residential neighborhoods would be amazing so that you can use it, truly use it to get to work and get to somewhere on the weekends. One really surprising thing I've heard about the hop is that a lot of people, especially like suburbanites, were coming in and bringing their kids to ride the hop, and like that was the attraction. It wasn't, we're gonna take it to go somewhere. It's, I wanna show my kid this really cool transportation system that we haven't had in the city in like 60 years. And I just thought that was a really cool thing.
It is cool,
Yeah.
and it's definitely not your grandpa's streetcar.
No, definitely not. Especially when it looks like a basketball court on the inside.
That's the truth. And one last thing, Claire. I know a lot of people probably see some of the same things that I've seen on TV, some famous faces promoting Wisconsin. There's been Kareem Abdul-Jabbar over the years, and most recently, Donald Driver.
Yeah.
Now, those are travel Wisconsin spots.
Yes.
You, of course, are Visit Milwaukee.
Yes.
Talk about the difference in those particular organizations,
Sure.
and even though you have the same goal as far as tourism.
Totally, yeah. Same goal. Bring in visitors. They leave their money here. They don't. Same goal. We work with Travel Wisconsin all the time. They are the state's agency for promoting tourism to the entire state, and that includes Milwaukee too. But of course, they have hundreds of other communities they need to be talking about. On the other hand, we are responsible for the greater Milwaukee area. Now, we're a little different in that even though most of our funding comes from taxes, we are a nonprofit. So that's the main difference, where they are a fully fledged government agency.
Okay.
But we have the same goals. We work together all the time. We coordinate our efforts for promotion too. And And yeah, but totally different ad campaigns, you know, totally different organizations.
It's very interesting, and we should just point out people are probably not going to see a lot of Visit Milwaukee advertisement because we're already here. You're advertising to people outside of the city.
Exactly. If you go to Chicago, you'll probably see our ads there, or you'll be served that ad on Facebook or whatever, and that's what they're seeing. But locals are not going to see that because you're already here, of course. You can always come to our website, though, and learn about Milwaukee or learn about the great tours we have to offer to get to know your city better, because you totally should, and it's fun. Why not?
Yeah, why not?
But yeah, you're not going to really see our advertising.
That's the truth, and no one should ever say there's nothing to do.
No, there is no excuse.
Well, thank you so much for coming by and just sharing all the great information with us, and keep doing what you're doing.
Thanks.
Claire Koenig is the communications manager at Visit Milwaukee, and for more information about anything we've discussed, you can check out their website at visitmilwaukee.org or give them a call at 414-273-3950. When we return to Our Issues Milwaukee, we'll continue to discuss all the fun and exciting things to see and do in Milwaukee and all of the great food to go along with it. We'll find out more about Milwaukee food and city tours right after this.